Hey, and good morning, everyone. This is our February webinar. We're going to go over a few different things, and then we have invited Dan Harris, who will be going over the automated statements with everyone so that we can go through those, see what updates we have, and get you guys any questions answered. I am still getting a little feedback, so I'm going to go through and mute some lines. So that we can get that. Hang on a second. So if you are on your phone, please go ahead and hit mute on your telephone. Make sure that you have the line going through your microphone if you are on your computer audio. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So a few things that I want to start off with today. 2019, we ended pretty well. We had about a 3% growth over 2018. Not as strong as I had anticipated, but we did end the year about 3% up. We are looking at 2020 being a really stellar year so far. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone. January of 2020 is showing us a 23% increase over January of 2019. It is, that is just incredibly remarkable. So I wanted to say thank you. Make sure you all are feeling valued. We definitely can't do this without you. So we are here to support you. And so thank you for your business. Thank you for trusting Andavo Travel with your business. We will be looking at different things throughout the year that we can enhance, that technologies that we could bring to you to help you be more efficient and more effective. So if there's anything that you're looking at or feel that we don't have a solution for, get that information over to me and we'll start researching it and see what we can do to solve that need for you. I do want to make sure that you all are aware of our Virtuoso dedicated line. We are a national account with Virtuoso, and so because of that, we have a VIP desk that we have access to. So it's really a phone number that is dedicated to Andavo Travel. It's listed here, 817-334-8735. This is dedicated to Andavo Travel as a national account. It's dedicated for us. It's a benefit that we have. Or you can email the help@virtuoso.com. There's also a chat feature on virtuoso.com. We've had a lot of success with people using that. And then, as you know, Wendy Abrams is our regional director. She is in the Dallas office. If anybody needs anything, Wendy is a great resource to reach out to. I want to just go over the Virtuoso on tour dates that are coming up. There is the registration deadline coming up for the Newport Beach Roadshow or on tour. That's coming up the 21st of February, which is this Friday. So if any of you are interested in going to that one, make sure you get your registration completed by Friday. And then you've got a few more coming up in May that registration will, deadlines are in March. So make sure that everybody knows that. So we've got Newport Beach, South Beach, Chicago, and Vermont coming up. They don't have anything for the second half of the year posted yet, but watch the Virtuoso meetings at virtuoso.com website for those. And they'll also be in different Virtuoso communications that come out. We did get the save the date sent out to everybody for our annual conference. We're also renaming Andavo Mart. Thank you for everyone who has contributed to the naming options. We will be going through those and getting a new name announced here pretty quick. But our annual conference will be in Boca Raton, Florida. We will be the 8th, 9th, and 10th of October. Our dates have shifted just a little bit this year, so make sure you mark that on your calendars. We're starting on Thursday afternoon, all day Friday, and Saturday morning. So shifted just a day earlier into the week. There will be some other options for extensions. If you're looking at doing any pre or post, we'll have some options for either other hotels in Florida. We're also putting together a little mini fam trip to Grand Cayman. So watch for some information on that as that comes up. And then another update that I want to get out to everybody, I'm looking to put together a peer group or a couple of peer groups based on interest. So if you're looking at being able to meet with other independent contractors who have objectives or goals that might be similar to yours, I'd like to put together some peer groups. We have some great peer-to-peer interaction within our physical offices, and I'd like to have that kind of an environment for our home-based advisors as well. So if anyone is interested in participating in one of these peer groups, let me know, and I will get some different groups matched up. Looking at probably 6, no more than 8 people per group. So depending on interest, we'll see how many people we have and see what we can match up and get those out to everybody. So again, if you're interested in that, send me an email and we'll get those put together. So we do have Dan Harris here with us today, and he is going to talk with us about what's coming with the agent statements. We're automating those. We're getting them online access. So we're going to be rolling those out in phases. We're going to start with our Marin office, and Dan will be working very closely with Kaisa on
I have to find out how to do it. We have a webinar now, by the way.
Hang on, I'm going to mute a line here. So we will be getting those rolled out. You'll be contacted when you'll be on the schedule. But I want to give Dan an opportunity to give us an update and look at that. So Dan, I am going to stop sharing my screen.
Yep. Okay.
And then you can begin sharing yours.
All right.
So there are a lot of you were at Andavo Mart and met with Dan when he was there, and were introduced to our initiative for automating the advisor statements. This is your monthly statement that you get on the 20th of each month with the income and expense statements. And we're getting those automated and getting the information that will be posted on Air Portal or via Air Portal. And so for some of you, you have not seen this yet, but many of you have seen where we're going with these. I just want to be able to give Dan that opportunity to give us all an update. So Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Sounds good. Hopefully everyone can hear me and see my screen. And
thanks.
Yep. So basically what you're trying to provide, Kirsten mentioned technologies and being able to provide you guys with a little bit more advanced technologies and a little bit more self-serve capabilities. And as we mentioned, or I mentioned during the Andavo Mart, we're talking about having IC, your monthly advisor statements available through the Air Portal, and also a pipeline card through the Air Portal as well. And we are going to be doing that through a tool called Domo. It's basically a reporting tool. Functions very similarly to Excel. So if you're familiar with Excel, you can create filters for this. And as Kirsten mentioned, we are going to roll out the Marin office first. We have everyone but 3, I think it's 3 out of the approximately 36 folks in that office, if I have that number correct, 3 out of the 36 that are not balancing. And when we mean balancing is that the data that we're providing online that you're seeing exactly matches to the Excel spreadsheets that are being generated by Kaija and Julie and Michelle for the Birmingham and Denver offices. So I think that's actually really pretty good. We're working on finding out why the remaining 3 are not balancing. And what we've been finding is that it typically has to do with like family travel. and someone who should be on a list and isn't on the list. So it's nothing that is outrageously wrong with the data not matching the spreadsheets that Kaija is producing. So pretty simple to fix, and we'll iron those out, and everyone should be having access to this. And we're going to check it out over the next couple of months. So this data will be available online through Airportal, through on your agent dashboard. There'll be a card that you'll have access to. And regarding that card is really going to look like what you're seeing right in front of you right now. It's going to be comprised of really 6 pieces of it. One will be a header bar that really is going to represent the last closed period that has occurred. And for us, it is this January period that is closed. So this won't be actionable at all. This really will be just the latest closed statement period that's out there. There'll be the second component is this section right here called commissionable transactions. These will be broken out. Of course, obviously, everyone will have their own data, only be able to see their own data. Those that have sub-advisors rolling up to them, they will be able to see all of the different advisors that roll up to their agency. So there'll be a commissionable transactions section. You'll be able to drill down into what makes up these tour transactions, air transactions, etc. And I'll show you how to do that in a second, but we're basically showing 3 key components. We're showing the gross sales amount. This really is the agency or CBT gross commission that came in, and this would be the key part that you're obviously very interested in, and this is your commissionable percentage and for you in particular. Now, this data that you're looking at right now, we Eli, our data wizard, created a fictitious travel advisor, and we tried to hide all the different travelers as we drill down to data. So all this data is just made very genericized, so we shouldn't have it be showing anyone's particular transactions that are out there. And we made up, I think, a commissionable percentage of 50% commissions. So everything is fictitious here, but this will be obviously keyed to you, and you'll have your this will be based, obviously what you're seeing is based upon the contracts that you have with Andavo. So this key amount over here on this right hand column is going to be your commissionable percentage for these different various transactions. So this is component number 2 of the display of the advisor statement, commissionable transactions. And of course, the third component of this will be all the variety of expenses that you may or may not have coming out of your monthly charges that are key to you. And of course, there'll be amount, and certainly it's the calculations of this really will be your commissionable amounts minus the expenses, and that'll roll into this amount. So if you do the rough math right now, 97 minus the 1850 will come to this total due to the advisor. So as you probably are seeing, this really matches the major sections of the Excel spreadsheets that you get from Julie, Kaija, and Michelle. So we're not making any changes to the basic data. It really is just how we're going to display that data and provide that data to you. So, and again, just feel free to stop or ask questions if you have them, and don't hesitate. I'll either answer them, and if I can't, I'll get the answers to those questions. So this should match will match the Excel spreadsheets that you get on a daily basis. So this is the net income that you have coming in. The last couple components of this will really be, the key will be we're calling it the advisor volume incentive. Some folks have quarterly bonus incentives out there. This will display if it's applicable to you. And again, this will look and feel and function exactly like the Excel spreadsheets that you're getting if you have that volume incentive. What I think is going to be kind of neat is that as we build on data going forward, because this is all brand new, this little section over here will be populated with previous statement periods. And you'll be able to historically go back as we are moving forward from January to February to March, and et cetera. You'll be able to go back to prior statements and look into, again, really each of these monthly closed periods historically. So nothing in there now, but going forward, we will have that data populated for you to go back and look at prior statement periods. So if there aren't any questions about the basic display of this information, again, this is going to be in your advisor dashboard in their portal. There'll be a link out there which will basically look exactly like this, the last closed period. You click on this link, it'll take you to a page and automatically open up a page which will have all of these pieces that we just talked through, these 5 or 6 pieces that we mentioned, and you'll be able to drill down. So as I said, if there aren't any questions, I'll just show you.
Dan, we did get a question.
Oh, fire away. Okay.
Will sub-advisors be able to see their own data, or will it just be rolled up to the primary advisor?
Good question. It will be their own data and all of their advisors that roll up to them. Yes.
For the primary, but will the sub-advisor only see their own data?
The sub-advisor will not see, what we decided was the sub-advisor will not see any data. It really will just be the main
Just
advisor.
the primary advisor.
Yes, just the primary, exactly.
Okay.
So that's a super question. So if you are a primary advisor, the main advisor for an agency, I'll open up this. So I'll show you that card and I'll get back to the question that just came in. So if you are looking at this and you want to see the individual transactions that make up your commissionable transactions, you would just basically simply click on this card and it opens up a larger drill down capability. And so we're looking at the card for the commissions. And if I were to click into any one of these, for instance, I'm just going to click on the tour transactions and it automatically filters. So the question that came in about the main advisor, so for instance, if this were an agency, you'd obviously see, hopefully, and yep, more transactions here, but you would be able to drill down into and search for specific sub-advisors here if you wanted to. And it's easy just to create a filter on a column or filter on a ticketing agent name. So yes, you'll have not only the main advisor, but all the sub-advisors will display for this, for tour transactions. And you could filter this data set by the advisor ID, which would be here. In this particular case, it's just one, it's Frank. But if there were many other transactions and sub-advisors, you'd be able to select this filter column and then just like Excel, filter on one or more people, because what would end up displaying when you filter this would be all of the unique advisor IDs that make up that. So hopefully that answered your question.
And then it was Carrie Wallace that asked that question.
Oh,
So Carrie, we will do more with the primary agents as we get these rolled out so that we can answer your specific questions, because we know you will have unique situations. Thanks for that question.
Yep. Yeah. So right. So yep. And in summary, it'll be for all the the carriers of the world and the agencies of the world. All the data associated with all of your sub-advisors will display here, and then we can help you create filters and help you use the card if this is new to you. So there's a bunch of data. All of this is downloadable to Excel if you wanted to. Super easy to do. To Excel, if you were to click this link, you'd get a little. Just like you've seen probably in others download formats, a little window opens down here on the bottom left of the card and it will actually download all this data. So super easy to put it into Excel if you find it easier to use. But just to show you some of the data that's here now, what you're going to see, as you can see, I've got a lot of scrolling room to the right-hand side. So there's a ton of data associated with this particular table. And let me just go through some of that. Some of this you don't care about. I'm working on being able to reorder these columns so it shows information that's a little bit more applicable to you. So certainly, the vendor type would be one of the main columns that you'd want to see first, probably along with these amounts. Group names, ARC flags. Let me just scroll to the right so you can see the variety of data that's out there. Vendor ID. Tour name, the vendor name would be critical, I'm assuming, so I'm going to work on shifting this column way over to the left. And I'll show you that sort order down the road as soon as I can get that worked in. But there's airline chain code, the traveler, obviously super critical to you. Probably just this is good enough to have this traveler column rather than broken out to the last name and first name, so I can move those columns further to the right and out of your way. Invoice number, cust IDs, not critical. Ticket confirmation, sorry, pretty critical. And the rest of these, here are some of the split types, probably fairly important. So I'll move that over to the left because this will obviously vary for those folks who have sub-advisors rolling up to them to be able to see, the split type that they have. Record locators, invoice number is important, and I'm going to check on the formatting of this. It's assuming that it's a generic number, and that wouldn't be the case, obviously, for an invoice number. So I'll see if I can reformat this to make it a little less confusing. The rest of this information, not super critical. These are all internal data table names, so I'll get rid of these and shift these out. I'll even see if I can hide them from you so you don't have to worry about whether they're going to appear to the right where they are or not. So I'll work on hiding some of these. Payment dates indicate when we received a commission check from whoever the vendor was. So that's probably fairly important. And I'll shift this over to the left as we scroll over. So a lot of information that's on this. I'll work on the reordering for you. But again, this is just really filtered, all your commissionable transactions filtered. Right now, I just have it filtered for, obviously, tour transactions, but you'll be able to drill down into every one of the different transaction types. So again, we're back to that, all the variety of commissionable transactions for our fictitious advisor, Frank, and they're going to be comprised of all the things you obviously know: tour, air, hotel, service fees. All of this information, by the way, is coming from Aggresso. So that's the source of it. This isn't any combination of air portal data and anything else. This is stuff. These are not stuff, but transactions that have been invoiced through the variety of GDSs and that have made their way into Aggresso. So that's the source of all this data. So let's wait till that refreshes and reloads. So for Frank, we've got this data. This is all downloadable. And again, you can drill down into every one of these individual transaction types and filter for them. Same with expenses. Expenses work the same way. You would click on the card and obviously see all the detailed expenses that are out there. There won't be as, okay, I'll have to check into this. Let me make one quick note. Expense detail, okay? But again, there obviously won't be as much detail as for a commissionable transaction for expenses as there will be for travel. So that really is going to be the monthly IC statement, self-serve, self-deliverable, self-filtering, downloadable, and everything else that you would want and that we've discussed over the months that we've taken to generate this. So super happy with it. Any generic questions about it?
I haven't seen any other questions come in. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to type those into the group chat and we'll get those answered for you. So thank you, Dan. I think this is looking really good. I think one of the things to reiterate again is that we're taking this slow. So at this point, we're just going to roll this out to the advisors that Kaija is doing statements for. She will continue to do her manual statement like what you have been getting. Dan is working on the automated statement, and they're both doing an audit of the data to make sure that they match. And as Dan had said before, he's down to 3 at this point for that group that did not match. So it's a pretty good percentage of accuracy that's coming through in these automated statements. We will not completely convert if we're not at that 100% accuracy, but want to make sure that you guys are aware that there is that auditing process that is going on. And so you can feel secure that the information is coming through correctly. Dan and I will be having a meeting with the accounting team to iron out kind of who to direct some questions to as you have questions on your statements. A lot of the questions you would probably still continue to go to your accounting representative, if that's Julie or Kaiser or Michelle. If you've got a question on the actual commission that has come in, if it is a question on the technology or what you're seeing on the statement, then we'll outline how you would get questions on that answered. So thank you, Dan. I think this is great. I'm really excited to see this automation coming through. The next phase of automation is also going to be the pipeline report. We're not quite ready to show that out, but we will invite Dan back and show everyone the pipeline reports as we get those.
Yep.
We did get another question. Are we still going to receive the same statements we always have when we are paid our commissions monthly? This ultimately will replace the PDF reports that you are given that Julie or Kaiser or Michelle are emailing out to you when you get your check. You'll have your deposit that is done, but then you'll also be able to come online to get that statement as soon as it is closed. And says, will there be a way for us to check to see if individual commissions have arrived? That is coming in the pipeline report. And so we will be able to do that commission tracking. That will be able to show us what commissions have been invoiced and what status they are in the process, if they have been paid or if they're still outstanding. And you'll be able to do a search for travelers, for vendors within that pipeline report.
Right. It's yeah. I actually have been spending a fair amount of time with a number of advisors and managers on that pipeline. We've talked about this for a while, and I'll actually check to see if we can get Frank SM, this fictitious advisor, set up in the pipeline, which we should be able to do all of his data. So that way, maybe the next time if I'm invited back,
okay,
I could
then we can
show you that pipeline.
how
exactly.
that pipeline would work.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that
yeah.
would be great.
Yep.
Very good.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan. Did anybody else have any questions? We did get another. You mentioned you were taking this slow. Is there an anticipated month when we will be completed and will be announced in advance? Yes. So each month we're looking at releasing another advisor group. So February will be Marin. March we're looking at Birmingham. April we will start with the breaking up the home-based independent contractors into chunks of probably 20 people at a time. And we will let you know in advance when you are, your statement is going through the automated audit so that you will know what you'll be looking at. You'll be getting information on how to access these online as well. So I anticipate over the next probably 5 to 6 months, we will have this completed and everybody on an automated statement. Great questions. All right. Well, thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. This is great and exciting. It's nice to see when we've got initiatives that they come through and we can get them started, marked off as completed. So thanks for all your hard work on this and everybody else that's worked behind the scenes on the auditing. Thank you to Kaisa and Julie and Michelle for everything that they have done, and our group of advisors that have helped us through the beta process. It has been a lot of work with a lot of team members to get this pulled off, and we're really excited about it. So we're at about 30 minutes now, and I have, all my updates are completed. So if anybody has just general questions, you can put those into the chat. I'm happy to answer any of those questions. Otherwise, thank you, everybody. And again, thank you for your business. Thank you for working with Andavo. 23% increase in January. It's a huge month. I don't think we've ever seen that big of an increase in the past. So we are really enjoying working with everybody. Thank you for your leads. We've gotten some great new people started. And so we do probably have a few of our new people here on the call. So I want to welcome Shirley and Sis and Joanne, who are new in the Marin office. Thank you guys for joining us. I don't see anything else coming in on the chat, so I'm going to assume then that that means nobody else has any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys all for joining today.